We are back in here as we continue along live from the University of Maryland, Jones Hill House here in College Park for a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. And this is our first opportunity to meet the new athletic director here at the University of Maryland. It's a pleasure to welcome into the program Jim Smith, who's with us now on GCR. Jim, it's great to meet you. Thank you, first of all, for having us. I mean, I've been here a million times, but this is your home now, so thank you for hosting us here at the University of Maryland.
Well, thanks for coming out. And I know you guys have been doing this a while, and it's great to be able to meet you and have you out here. I heard you talking to Coach Locks, so it sounded like a really good interview, and looking forward to spending a little time with you.
He's one of my favorites. I'll go right to it. Right, I'm sure you had a lot of people that would say, "Why? Why would you, everything that you've done, accomplished in your career in professional sports, college sports, choose to take on this role now of all times in college athletics? Why would this be something that you would sign up for in what everybody has declared is the Wild Wild West?" So I'll go right to it. Why?
Oh, because there's an enormous amount of opportunity here at Maryland. So there are a couple of key things. I love a challenge, right? And so collegiate athletics right now is incredibly challenging in what I think is a really good way. It's evolving into something that it's never been before. There's no easy answer. There's no solution. So being able to put your own mark on what that solution can be is really, really interesting to me. And so when you can do that at a place that you believe in, which is the Big Ten, and then you get to meet the people that are here, and you have a president of a university who is committed to athletics, it's got all the pieces to be incredibly successful. And then you meet coaches like Coach Locks and Coach Freeze and Coach Buzz and all our other Olympic sport coaches. This place is really special. It's got a lot of momentum, and now we just got to give it a little bit of jet fuel, and that's my job to bring the resources to the table.
So what are those priorities?
Yeah, it's about resources. I mean, you can't ask people to be, in today's collegiate athletic world, you can't ask them to be successful consistently without providing the resources that those other programs are providing. And that's part of the job that is not easy. It's not for everyone. It's really hard, and it's got to be done in order to be successful.
This was quite the hot button issue, as I'm sure you're aware, over the course of the last year in these parts. I asked Coach Loxley this question. After July 1st, is it equitable for everybody, or is that still to be determined in college athletics?
I think it's more equitable,
okay.
But it's still a work in progress. There were a lot of things done before July 1st that kept the inequality in place. And so we've got to let that shake through the system a little bit and be able to build our program the way we need to, while understanding people may have had a head start on us. And we've got to catch up fast, and I think that's part of what we're doing right now.
He is Jim Smith, Maryland Athletic Director. He's with us here on GCR. Jim, I bring up that there were some hot button issues around here, right? Like, would anyone in your life say something like, "Boy, isn't there some weird stuff going on at Maryland?" Did you have to answer or get answers from anybody here about? It seemed like you guys, there was some infighting. Did you have to ask any of those questions before you took this job?
You would be doing a really bad job if you don't do your homework
sure.
before you take an opportunity like this. So clearly, I have friends in the NFL, I have friends in Major League Baseball, I have friends in the NBA. You do a lot of homework before you decide that this is an opportunity where you can be successful. So I talked to a lot of people. I knew a lot of what went on here. I asked a lot of really good questions. I got really honest answers, which told me a lot about this institution and this opportunity.
So if the public perception is one thing, what to you is the reality of what the athletic department looks like at the University of Maryland?
I think it's got huge upside. So I'm a big believer in the coaches that we have all the way through this athletic program. They're great. They're committed to Maryland. They've been really successful with limited resources. Mm-hmm. And, I just hope to be able to give them more to be able to be even more successful than they've been in the past.
Is it something where, like, everybody got, I have my one son here with me today, right? I want to make it very clear. He's not my favorite son. I have two. They're equal.
What's up with that?
They're equal. They're
what's
equal.
Up with that?
Calm down. They're equal.
That's not right.
He just happened to be the one that wasn't at camp this week, and so that's the reason why he's here. But, like, what is that role for an athletic director where everybody wants more, right? Like, where obviously there has to be major investment in football and men's basketball and women's basketball, but, like, the lacrosse team still wants more. Like, how do you handle all of that and having to, feed all of the kids? balance.
Yeah, really healthy respect, right? You do, just like you said about your sons, you love them both equally. You love them all equally. It doesn't mean they're always treated exactly the same. And I think most coaches understand that. They know that we need an incredibly successful football and men's and women's basketball program in order to elevate all of us, both from a brand standpoint and from a financial standpoint. So I think they have a great, I'm very fortunate to have great coaches in all our programs, and some that have been incredibly successful. When you look at Missy in field hockey, and Tills in lacrosse, and Kathy in women's lacrosse. I mean, we have a number of great coaches, and they all want to be at Maryland. That told me something. That really told me a lot about the coaches here, that they want to be here. In spite of what may have been some challenging situations. And so again, my job is to bring the resources into the table to be able to help them be more successful. And part of resources isn't just directly for their program, but it's in building all our other revenue streams, right? And that helps all programs. And the last thing I'd say is that there's a big difference between wants and needs. My job is to address the needs of all our programs. And so if I can do that, and we've accomplished and checked off all the boxes on the needs to be successful, we'll have been successful, and then the wants come easily.
All right, let me knock out a couple. One would be, there is this concept now that exists, there's this belief, and we've seen it a couple places already, that because programs are fully funding, that's going to cost sports. Like that's going to be the trade-off. It's going to cost somewhere else, that you can't do both things.
No, we're an and department. It's not an or department. It's and. We can win in football and win in field hockey, and neither has to be sacrificed for the other. So I don't subscribe to that at all. Now, there may be programs that have many more sports than ours that might have to look at it differently. But I think Maryland is perfectly positioned to be in the and situation, not the or situation.
This isn't going to cost anything here. Everybody's going to be able to compete, and nothing goes away. And that, I think, is very assuring. I guess the next question becomes, right, do you have to, you allude to it. I think a lot of people allude to it. We know that football is going to be funded more than other sports are, in part because there's a larger roster. But I think everybody knows, and also because it's the biggest revenue sport that there is. This is a place where there is a unique basketball history, and there is always an argument. I'm sure you've already heard from some people. You should care more about basketball here. How do you walk that line of people believe Maryland's a basketball school versus we can't just say we're a basketball school?
Oh, I think it's the same thing we just talked about your sons. You love them both, and they both can be successful. And so as long as you're not sacrificing one for the other, I think we can be incredibly successful in all our sports, and that's going to be the approach.
Is it as simple as just asking, like, how does this work? All right? I'm the dumb guy. There's a reason I do this for a living. Is it as simple as just asking people for more money? How do you create more revenue in order to give more programs more funding?
Well, I don't want to give away my secrets.
All right,
Come on, that's part of the secret sauce.
I was gonna go start a consulting business. I guess I'm stuck here.
No, but I think that you really have to look at.
Sorry, Sam, you're not going to camp next summer.
Yeah, I really do think you have to look at the business opportunities that haven't been explored by traditional collegiate athletics and figure out how to take them. And so this is a really good non-answer for you, but to figure out how to really make those into businesses that drive revenue for your programs. And so I'm hopeful, within the first year that we're going to be able to identify things that people haven't seen before and that aren't being done anywhere else, that will drive revenue into this program, as well as enhancing the revenue streams that we do have. Those from ticket sales, those from all those ancillary revenues that come. And that part of that is making your experience what you experience at an Orioles game or a Ravens game, right? That it's really incredible. So you're willing to invest a little bit more because you're getting a great experience.
It's a fickle market.
All
right?
markets are fickle. So
okay.
This is really no different. And I say that only from coming from another fickle market. And having lived in many fickle markets around. So,
but like Atlanta's a passionate college sports market, right? Like they love. I've been,
but with 4 professional sports teams, and so it's not like it's, and clearly every market wants to win, right? And so every market gets frustrated when they don't win. That is Go to Nebraska, go to Missouri, go to any place in the country. It's exactly the same. We all deal with the same issues. And so, you just keep plowing forward and making sure you're doing the absolute best you can by resourcing the teams as best you can to be successful.
Does it demand, like, we have to, do you have to come in, we have to win now? Like, is it something like that?
No, you have to be competitive.
Yeah.
So look, if remember, not every team can win every week, right? So if winning is the only recipe for success, then that's going to be a tough recipe to maintain for a long period of time. But you can be competitive. You can walk into every game and believe you can win. Believing is really important. So I'd ask all your listeners to start believing rather than being doubters, right? And so if you start on the doubters
but you know sports fans.
Yeah, I know that's right. But that's my point about it. It's like this everywhere. Every fan starts in the same place. When fan bases jump the shark to the believing side, because there's a reason to believe, is when your program can really reach a whole new height.
Man, we're having like large picture questions that I would love to just grab a beer and talk about at some point, because this is actually fascinating to me how all of this works beyond just trying to, like, hey, go win, right? Go win your first couple of games and we're all good. Everybody's happy when that's the way that it works.
But that's like that everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, so again, it's all about content. Sure, we want to win all our games. You want to be 1-0. Every week you want to be 1-0. It's the easiest way to simplify. But at some point in time, you're not going to be 1-0. There's very few undefeated teams in any sport, in any league. So you have to take the good with the bad.
Do you have any projects besides, just revenue? Like, are there any the things that I don't know about that are going on here that you walk in? Obviously, there's been a bunch of construction on a line that's been going on over here, but are there any other projects that you inherit or that you have in mind immediately for upgrading at the University of Maryland?
So the Gossett Basketball Performance Center is an amazing facility. And it's going to be incredible for both our basketball programs. So that one will be coming online here in September. We're really excited about that. We're working about, okay, so now that basketball no longer has to practice in Xfinity, what can we now program in Xfinity that hasn't been available?
Is that a potential source of revenue?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's one of those things that, we're definitely starting to explore, and how we can generate new revenue from new events that we can host in Xfinity.
My friend AJ Francis would want me to campaign for professional wrestling at Xfinity Center to be an option. He would want me to put in a word right now to say, let's make that happen somehow, some way. If that's the route we're going, we got to give him the first opportunity to get in there and wrestle. I don't know if you know AJ. He's a pro wrestler. He played football here. He's one of my closest friends on the face of the planet. And it would be a magical moment if we could pull that off somehow.
Where is he wrestling?
He's with TNA right now. They've been partnering. He's been in WWE. They've been partnering with WWE again. We can talk. Okay. We don't have to do all of this right now. We can talk about that moving forward. But that is, you're saying that those types of events are in play, perhaps.
Absolutely.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. So there you go. That's one of the projects. Remember, I've been doing this about 4.5 weeks now. So we've got a lot on the list. And now it's determining the priority of getting things done and how quickly we can get things done. Sometimes you may or may not have heard on a college campus, things don't always move quite as fast.
I've heard that quite a few times.
So they don't move quite as fast as they do in the pro world. So it's going to be one of the challenges that we got to work through.
There is, I'm not speaking on behalf of me. I would tell you that constantly that I hear in Baltimore, I wish Maryland did more to reach out to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that as well.
I'm sure you have, right? Yeah. I get it all the time. And it's not easy. You guys are going to play a basketball game in Baltimore this year, which is, I know, a very big deal. I also recognize you haven't been here a very long time to start laying out those plans. But is there more that can be done outreach to Baltimore and other parts of the state?
Absolutely. And, part of it is understanding kind of how we got into the situation we're in now, and, how do we expand our footprint. And I went to Caves this weekend to the BMW. I mean, it wasn't that far. So I'm not sure where the conflict is come from, but we certainly need to be reaching out and encouraging Baltimore and the whole state of Maryland to get behind Maryland athletics. We are the flagship. We are the standard bearer in college athletics. So why wouldn't we all support our state team like they do in other states?
I mean, we all wear the flag on literally on everything that we own. I mean, like, it's sort of part of the way that this works. So I'm in agreement with you. And I also understand it's complicated because people would say, hey, could you play a football game? You only get so many of them.
Right.
And like, you got a giant stadium just over my shoulder that you got to fill. I understand it's not that simple, but it's something that people always ask for. What's something that we need to know about you, right? Like, we're getting to know you.
Yeah. So
Obviously, you're a business guy. When you're away from business, when you wind down, are you a golfer or are you?
I like to run. I like to
Okay.
golf. I like to read. I love the beach. Those are. I have 4 children. They're 28, 26, 22, and 20. So we'll spend a lot of time seeing them wherever they are at this point in time. So that's what I like to do. There's not a lot of free time, so you got to
Sure.
you got to take advantage of the free time that you have, and I'll always prioritize family first because golf is 4.5 hours. I love golf, but it's 4.5 hours, and it's when you only have 4.5 hours in a weekend, I'm not sure my golf game is going to be getting much better at this point in time.
That's why I gave up. I just gave up because it wasn't going to happen for me. Jim Smith, it's really great to meet you. I look forward to having more of these conversations as you sort of set your mark on the University of Maryland and the University of Maryland Athletic Department. Appreciate. Is any message you want to share with Maryland fans?
Oh, it's just that I'm thrilled to be here. I really am. I think the opportunity. And I know this might make a few of the fans not thrilled, but I don't know that there's a conference I'd rather be in right now in collegiate athletics in the Big Ten. And I know there's a long history in the ACC, but where this conference is going, where it is right now, just such a.
I guess then we can put to bed anybody who's still holding out hope that somehow, some way.
Well, there's probably more than 1 or 2 ACC teams probably trying to figure their way into the Big Ten right now, rather than the other way around. And I think we're very fortunate. So I'm just thrilled to be the athletic director here. You're going to see a lot of me. I'm going to be around, very present, and look forward to doing this again with you sometime
I enjoyed
soon.
this. Jim Smith, thank you so much for coming over and spending some time with us.
Thank you.